Where in the world do you start? Right? You know that there's a problem. You know that you need to go, you want more income, you want more impact, you want more freedom with your family, you want more ways to be generous. Where do you start? What does this look like? Okay. So those of you that are coming on, you're a 6 or 7 figure Christian entrepreneur. Welcome. We're glad you're here. I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk you down the road of exactly what I did. What was that like? What does that sound like? First of all, a lot of times you just don't know what you don't know, or you don't realize it until you just get frustrated enough to finally do something, right? Maybe you're listening to podcasts, maybe you're watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and you're consuming information. You're consuming, what do you do? What do you get unstuck? How do you make more money? How do you balance your family, right? All those things. But in the very beginning, it's what's the first step that you have to take. And I can tell you for myself, when I was trying to take that first step, I had no idea what to do. I had no idea who to trust. And I didn't know where to put my money. I was scared about that too. So it's like, I don't know where to start. I don't know who to trust. And I don't know if I put my money in it, if it's going to work. So where do you start? How does that finally work? And it all really starts in here. Your head, your mind is really the one that's playing the games, because your life is built on certainty. Your flesh wants certainty. It wants to minimize risk. It wants to keep you comfortable. It wants to keep you safe and secure. And so anything that doesn't look safe and secure, it goes crazy. Your brain goes bonkers, and you don't know where to go and what to do. And that's where I was at. So I want to give a few things and put them your way. So maybe you're having the same thoughts, the same ideas. And then how do you get past that thought? How do you go beyond it, right? And one of the scriptures that came to mind just for this specifically was Proverbs 29:18. And let me see if I can let me see if I can get super techie and pull this up. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Proverbs 29:18 says this: where there is no revelation, the people cast off restraint, but happy is the one who keeps the law. Another version in here will say, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. And that word restraint is discipline. It means that where there's no vision, there's no discipline. And where there's no discipline, there's no boundaries. There's nothing to keep you in line going to where you want to go, right? So one of the things that you have to just notice with that is, what is the vision? And let me tell you, my hands raised, because in those moments and in those times when I was starting to feel frustrating, I felt like I should have been further along. I felt like I was starting to be left behind. Did I have a vision for my life? No. Did I know what it was? No. It was in here. Did I know every day the steps to take to get there? No, didn't know that either. It was this maybe idea in my head of wanting to do certain things, maybe wanting to speak, wanting to coach, wanting to, sort of create this thing. But I had nothing down on paper. I had no strategy to get there. I had nobody keeping me accountable. And none of that stuff was in place. So if I was to go back in that moment and in that time and in that space, I don't know where to start. I don't know who to trust, right? And I don't know where to put my money. What would I do, right? What would I do differently now? The first thing that I would do differently now is know that scripture right there, where there's no vision, you will lack discipline, right? And so whether that's in your personal life, whether that's in your marriage, whether that's in your fitness, whether that's with your children, if you don't have a vision for it, then you will not have the discipline to keep you aligned in that, right? Your vision, many times, especially with guys, is just taking care of what you're supposed to take care of, or taking care of the things that you have going on at work. And so your personal life, there's no strategic vision. There's no, this is what I'm going for, or this is what I'm hoping for. There's no mission behind it. And so if I was starting again, if I was sitting there where you were at, number one is I would begin consuming information and content from people that would be able to clarify the vision for me and be able to hold me accountable to that. Like, how do I know what that looks like, or what that does? First of all, you're going to have to take action. You're going to have to do things that you've never done before. And one of the things that I did in the very beginning that really course corrected so much was I had an idea of in my heart. And there's a verse, I'm jumping a little bit, but there's a verse in Hosea that I'll get to about this. But there's something that you have in your heart that you want to do, and you're not getting there. And one of those reasons why you're not getting there a lot of times is because you don't have the skill to get there. You don't have the right team around you to get there. And so it seems like the goal is impossible. I don't know. How could I ever do that? Well, if you start to break it down and if you start to chunk it, you'll realize that, well, maybe I just need to learn this. And so the first thing that I did that really set my trajectory into a whole new course was I purchased a coaching course and a school from Jay Shetty. It was at the time probably some of the most amount of money I'd ever spent on myself. I don't know, somewhere like around 7,000. And I was taken back. I mean, I had the money, we had money saved up. It wasn't one of those things. It was one of those things of like, well, the money's saved up. What am I, what if I don't like being a coach? What if I don't like doing this? And all of these what ifs started cycling through my brain. Well, that as I started to do the course, I started to realize that I really enjoyed this and I was learning. And I don't know what's going to happen after this course. However, I know that I am learning a ton of things that I'm going to be able to use in whatever I do next, no matter what. And so that began to give me confidence to say, okay, I took this course on. It's really helpful. It's helping me grow. I took another course after that, another, 10 grand for something else that I said, okay, this is helping me. Okay, now I need to upskill here and do this. Now I need to, go in this lane. And what happens is motion creates emotion. It becomes something that gives you momentum as well. You start, okay, this is working and this is working. And once I did that, once I actually committed to going into that lane, all of a sudden the vision started to become clear for me. I'm going to get into coaching, and step one is learning everything that I need to know to become the greatest coach that I could be for Christian business executives and entrepreneurs. How could I take 20 years of sitting with, 7 and 8 figure business owners? How could I take all of that, all the things that I've learned in marketing and growth and leadership, now add this coaching element to it? How could I use all of that to be able to work and do what's next for me, right? All of a sudden it started getting clearer. So usually the hardest thing you need to do is the thing that you need to do. If you don't want to spend the money, spend the money. If you don't want to, you're scared that it's not going to work, go and do it. Go and do the thing that you need to do to get you going. So step one right here. And if you're stuck and you're trying to figure out, you've never spent that much money on yourself before, or maybe you've taken courses and you didn't finish them, and you're like, I don't know if I need another course. That's right. You might not need another course, but if you spend the money and it hits you and hurts you enough, you will do the thing that you need to do to get you across the line and go where you need to go. There's many people that have these big dreams of wanting to do all these things, but they don't have the skill to get them there. Which brings me to my verse, and then I'll close. Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. All right, I'm going to turn there and just read it for you. Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because you rejected knowledge, I also will reject you for being priest for me. So that verse gets thrown around quite a bit. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. When I started to dissect that verse, and that verse popped out to me. It was interesting. And when I said, what does that knowledge mean? What does that actual word knowledge mean? And here's what it means for you. And I want you to catch this because it's something that I just alluded to. And it's something that literally God is telling you that you will be destroyed if you lack knowledge. Okay, what is the knowledge? If you break down the word knowledge in Hebrew and you start doing the studies, the word knowledge is actually skill. My people are destroyed because they have a lack of skill. If I take that verse and I bring it to you and I say, okay, what do you want to do next? Where are you trying to go? Do you have the skill to get you there, to do the thing that you need to do? And if you don't, what do you need to bring on to do that? And that's also part of my purpose blueprint stack. As you know, if you've gone through it, skill is a key component into getting to where you want to go in your vision. So I pause there. I reflect back on you. You're stuck. You're frustrated. You're not sure where to start. You're not sure who to trust. You're not sure where to spend your money. Okay, I get all those things. You're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to upskill in order for you to get to where you want to go. So just put that in your back pocket and remember this, okay? Because this was really helpful for me about money. Remember what is money to you? What is it for? What does it do? Why do you have it? And I also, when a mentor of mine gave me a definition of this, and I think it's really helpful and powerful, it really helped me. What is money? Money is a a exchange of time and energy, right? Time and energy is your money. That's what you get. And you're exchanging time and energy for money. So another thing you think about is, well, what's happening with the currency that we currently have? It's losing value. Every dollar you have is losing value. So another way to look at it is to say, okay, I need to put this money somewhere. It needs to go into something. And that's where my head started spinning more and more. And I said, if I hold on to this dollar, it's literally going down in value. If I put the dollar back into me, I have more of a chance of being able to 7, 8, 10, 20, 30x it just by doing things that I believe that God has called me to do. So I want to put that challenge to you. To start, you're going to have to do something that you don't want to do. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. And guess what? That's the first door that opens up. And as you open that door, there's another door beyond that. And it's so hard to see when you're in it because it's terrifying. You're scared. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this person is, going to say and do what they say they're going to do. Look, it comes down to you. My key pillar of Purpose Blueprint is ownership. You have to own your life, your day, and everything that comes along with it. So when you make this decision, when you say, I'm going to go in, I'm going to make this decision. I want to max out my income, my impact, my freedom with my family, and I want to have more ways that I can be generous. When you do that and you start to align, everything else becomes a distraction. And that's what we do. That's how we work. That's how I work together with clients. Is everything else is a distraction. You only focus on those things and that vision of what you're moving towards. So I just want to say thanks for coming. Thanks for being here, sitting here. I know where you're at. I know it's hard. I want you to get past and go to that first step. Do the thing that you know you need to do. I'm going to leave my calendar down there. If you feel like this is a moment where you're like, hey, I need to take a step. I need to move in this direction. Drop a note, find some time, and we'll talk this thing through. Customize a blueprint for you that's going to exponentially grow your life and your business. And that sometimes is one of the hardest things because when you're just there by yourself and you're trying to imagine, you say, hey, I'm only making 100 something a year. I can't imagine, how do I get to 200? How do I get to 300? How do I get more freedom with my family? When you're in it, it looks impossible because I was in it. And then all of a sudden, you start making the advancements. You start investing in these things. And I'm telling you what, you are a valuable, valuable asset. Those plans, those dreams, those things that you have in there, we can turn them into reality and results faster. I know we can. I do it with clients all the time. I'm putting it your way. It can be done faster. It's just that you're locked into this little bubble in your world. And I want you to hopefully take a step back. And I believe that you're going to start to see things bigger, grander, exceedingly abundantly above all that God has for you. Okay. He's great plans for you. So that's it. If you need anything, schedule something below. And thank you. Subscribe. I know 65% of you are not subscribed. So subscribe and share it to somebody. God bless you. If you want daily bites of how to grow, how to max out your impact and income, go to Instagram every